Hi, I'm Gus. If you haven't been to this channel before, great, welcome. If you have, today's going to be something a little different. I've been thinking a lot lately about what my channel has been in the past and how I want to kind of give some new energy into it. And so I'm going to reintroduce myself on this channel, and I'm going to do that over a series of videos. But today's video is focused on one question. It's a pretty simple question. That question is, where am I from? It's a simple question, but it has some more complex answers. And I think that's true for everyone. So, first of all, why don't we talk about maybe the simplest explanation or the simplest answer to that question? Where am I from geographically? Well, I'm from the state of Kansas. I have this map of Kansas on this wall. Don't ask me why. I'm not entirely sure why I have this map of Kansas in the wall. If you're not familiar with Kansas, Kansas is basically a big rectangle with a squirrely little bite out of the northeastern edge. And we're a pretty flat state, at least most people think so. We actually have a huge elevation change, but for the most part, we're pretty flat terrain. We have two interstates that go through Kansas, and the intersection of those two interstates is Salina. And Salina is where I was born and raised. I spent literally from when I was born until I graduated college in Salina. About 2 years before I graduated from Kansas Wesleyan here in Salina, I met my wife Hannah. And shortly after she graduated, we both moved to Lindsborg, which is, so here's Salina, there's Lindsborg. And I know you can't see that, and it's really not important that you can. They're both two tiny dots on the map. And if you're just talking geographically, that's all they are. That's all I'm from, is two tiny little dots on the map. But just like every place on this planet, a map doesn't really describe where I'm from very well. It gives you the name and the basic location, and that's about it. So, why don't we try to answer this question a little bit more in depth? Where am I from? So as you can see, Salina isn't just a dot on the map. It's an interesting, dynamic place, a place where many people are happy to live. Now I want to show you more specifically where in Salina I'm from. So I guess it's time to take you to my childhood home. So even more specifically than Salina, this is where I grew up. This is my parents' house. Growing up in this park inside the city has been just a wonderful experience as a child. I have so many benefits, and I'm just really grateful and thankful that this was where I was able to grow up. We're just surrounded by these cottonwood trees. You can hear right now. I'm not cheering up, I just have a frog on my throat. So I don't want you to think I take all of this for granted. I know how lucky I am to have grown up in a place as beautiful as my parents. And I just think that growing up in this environment really fostered my creativity and my desire to get outside and enjoy, you know? So this is the room I spent my first 20 years in. As you can tell, it was a little weird for a 20-year-old guy to be living in this room and sleeping in this bed with all of his stuffed animals and everything. There is some really cool stuff in here though. Like, I have always been a huge space nerd, and so as you can probably tell, I have quite a bit of space stuff in here. I grew up with classical music all around me, and without it being something I was really aware of, it was just something that happened. My mom always left the radio on, just like today. And that classical music, while it really wasn't something that I really noticed as a child, it's something that is really a deep and rooted part of me. Hannah and I have been involved in the Salina Symphony I've been involved for over 10 years, and she's 6 years now, something like that. And we just have a deep love for music, and a lot of that just stems from our parents' love for music and that. So I'm not blind to the fact that I grew up in a really sheltered environment. I know a lot of kids don't get to live in a place like this. I want to use what I've been given to make the world a better place, and I want to use this childhood that I was given. I think every kid should have the chance to grow up in an environment like the one I did, with loving parents and an awesome house and an awesome room. And I'm really excited to create stuff that makes a difference. The last place I wanted to show you guys is my dad's workshop. And it was here that I kind of first really caught on to what it means to be creative, and how, kind of the world is your oyster, and you can just go and create something beautiful, or maybe not so beautiful, but you can just go create something with your hands, or just your skills in general. And my dad taught me that by, if I ever had an idea, I could go to him with that idea, and he would either help me create it or let me play in his workshop and make stuff. And so, as you can see, the stuff that he creates is not, it's relatively childlike, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that sense of creativity and just that, my dad's ability to just make something so cool just ingrained in me from a very early age. How powerful skills are, and how powerful our creativity is. So this is another place that's important to me. This is my childhood playroom, and yes, I was that lucky that I actually had a room filled with toys and things to play with. A lot of this stuff belonged to my sisters, and they're a lot older than me, so I spent a lot of time in here alone playing with stuff. But my parents facilitated my creativity through all sorts of things. Like there's a puppet theater over here, and I and my siblings and my nieces and nephew have spent countless hours playing in there. And my dad built this slide by hand that was just something he wanted to do for fun. He built this castle over here that, I can't tell you how many Lego battles happened in that paper mache castle. One of the things that was just always present in my life, going back as far as I can remember, is just storytelling. Both my dad telling stories and my mom telling stories too, and both of them just exposing me to all sorts of different authors, books, and movies even. All of this video has basically been a window into where I'm from, both in terms of geographically where I'm from and within Salina where I'm from, and also just kind of a window onto, a little bit of the way I've been raised, just around, just had a very lucky and happy childhood, and I owe my parents all the gratitude in the world for that. And I don't know if you see like this place and the stuff that my parents did for me as a kid really influenced who I am as an adult. And so, I mean, if you want to see who I am, maybe that question is answered by this video as well.